You're listening to the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network. The views and opinions expressed on this episode are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or philosophies of the PFC Entertainment Network or any of the affiliates that make this show possible. This show has also been rated M for mature audiences only. This is Creepy Soup on the PFC Entertainment Network.
Soup. I am Jill. Can't look at the
I am
screen.
Jenny.
And welcome to whatever this is right now. How are you?
I'm good.
You're what?
I knew that was going to throw you. I'm good.
Okay. I don't know how to proceed now. Fucking threw off the whole thing. Like,
I don't know. I just, my vacation was much needed. And, things have gone well and smooth. And, yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's been a nice and good vacation.
Good. I'm glad.
Didn't do, an extravagant amount, but I did enough to where my body's like, fuck you, why'd you do this to me?
Right. Yeah. Oh, I get that one. 100%.
So yeah, camping my body was not a fan of. So I have plans for the next camping trip to minimize that. So yeah.
Okay. Good.
Sorry, the cat.
Cat's playful, feeling frisky.
Something. She likes to lay in here now. So, because it's the coolest room in the house.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah. I gave her food right before we started so that she wouldn't do that, but she did it anyways.
She says, fuck you, I'm doing what I want. Because she's a cat. That's what they do.
And she's, I would say, more an outside cat than inside cat. She visits us periodically, and she sleeps here.
Oh, okay.
She's kind of like me.
So for her, it's like a free hotel.
Yeah.
Hotel, yeah.
That I pay for.
You're her sugar human.
I am.
Oh, okay. So
I got the snacks too.
No, you had a good time. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit.
I'm sorry. It's okay.
So I get to work yesterday, and now this is after being sick, which I'm not going over that again, but I was sick, and I tried to go home yesterday, but that didn't happen. So I get back to my little work spot, and Roy starts texting me that he says, I think Chloe's dying. Well, he calls my one bird Chloe, and I don't know why.
I'm like, who the hell's Chloe?
It's Lucy. So I said, "What? Why do you think that? What's she doing?" He was like, "She's breathing really hard, and she won't like fly anywhere, and Lilith is just staring at her." And I'm like, "Okay, maybe she's just hot." And well, somewhere in between there, I said, "Well, why don't you Google what she's going through? Maybe she just needs like some cool water or something." And he said that Buddy had looked it up, and it's in birds, I guess that's a sign of respiratory failure.
Aww.
And like she had she was actually letting Roy like hold her and move her around and stuff. Like Roy put her over the little water bowl and all this stuff, and then he like pulled her out of the cage, and he said like her breathing was like really deep and really shallow, and he said she took 6 breaths and died right in his hands. So I was
Aww.
bawling all day yesterday at work over a bird that drove me fucking insane. But she
She
was still
did.
my bird.
Yeah.
And I asked Roy because you know how Roy kind of took over after a few
Mm-hmm.
months. Like I went to get up in the morning and he had already had the cage done and the food and all this shit. And I'm like, well, what the fuck do I do now? Um, so he's the one that took over the feeding and the cleaning out the cage. So I asked him how he was doing, and then of course, you know, she died right in his hands, and he was like, "Oh," he was like, "I got misty-eyed, but I'm okay." He was not okay. He was not okay because last night after I got home, the way I was all day at work yesterday,
Aww. Maybe it
and
was just you're the trigger.
maybe,
Or
maybe
rather, I shouldn't say you're the trigger. You're his safe human. He can do that with you.
it, that could be yeah. But I felt bad for him last night. He's like, "It's stupid. It's just a bird." I'm like, "But she was our bird." Like,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, we have that.
I'm sorry.
Thanks. So R.I.P. Lucy / Chloe apparently.
I didn't know she was renamed.
Well, technically, I renamed her because when I got her from someone else, her name was Artemis. You know, Artemis
Mm-hmm.
fowl bird. Um, and I renamed her Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
And it does say, now I've read 2 different sources. One that says go out and get another bird right away because Lilith, like, she's calm right now, so I don't know. Nope, I just heard her.
I hear it too.
But when she got up today, when I got up and opened up her cage and all that stuff, she was going bananas. And because there was 2 swings in there, she was always on the back one. Lucy was always on the front one. She's on Lucy's swing today.
She's taking over the cage.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, this bitch is mine.
You know, I got this big mansion now, and it's all mine.
You know, sorry.
Thanks. Yeah, like I kept thinking yesterday, like I feel stupid because it's a bird. We didn't cuddle it, we didn't hold it, but we still took care of it. So I was like, it's so stupid.
And
I'm back here just bawling.
I know that you had conversations with your bird, so
Yeah. I mean,
you
a
know what
lot
I
of times
mean?
it ended up with me threatening the air fryer.
Fair.
Yeah. So Roy and Buddy put her in a box and buried her. He was like,
That was
and
nice
we
of
did
him.
make sure she really was gone. I'm like, well, thank you for that. He was like, because we didn't want to bury her alive. And I'm like, well, definitely thank you for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my day yesterday.
I'm sorry.
And I didn't get to come home. I said if I would have known all that was going to take place, I would have called in and taken the write up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those things. Like, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so we're getting some good traction on our TikTok. I've noticed. I was looking
We
at the
are.
numbers.
I haven't looked yet today because I can't get into it because once I get into it, then I'm stuck in it for like at least a half an hour between the two pages.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I feel you there. I do,
yeah.
I
And
do.
then I also have my Instagram, and then I have my Facebook, the Creepy Suit Facebook, and then the Lizette's Beauty World.
Yeah. And that's one reason why I don't do a whole lot, because I don't really have the time.
Yeah, my time for the summer is becoming a little more scarce, but I'm still managing it okay. In fact, today I am doing a live on Facebook for a eyeshadow look.
Oh, nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah. And I just did a very cool butterfly that has done very well. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Sweet. Oh, I hear my hubby now. Yeah, and last night I couldn't sleep, and both of us at different times thought we felt like something flutter against us. And of course, me, I think it's either hair or a spider,
Mm-hmm.
because like my hair is just all over. Um, but Roy doesn't have long hair, and he kept looking. So like I don't know. So we were like, maybe it was just Lucy, Chloe saying
Saying
goodbye.
goodbye.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be okay today. So I keep telling myself, but yeah. I'm trying to think. Um, Merchandise. I'm gonna tell you, I've been listening still to, because I'm catching up, because I started
Mm-hmm.
from the first and all that stuff. I'm catching up on Jason and Sean's podcast, and I was gonna tell a story today. One you already know, and I don't know if I've told it on the podcast before, um, but we don't have the time today. Is your story really long?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into that. Um, but I'm going to, because I know Jason listens to edit. I've got a story next week for Mr. Sean.
Ooh, okay.
So I'm
Interesting.
excited about that.
All right. Can't wait.
All right. What you got
So
for me today?
today, the wickedest man in the world. Who do you think that could be? Because, I
Um,
mean, that title could go to a lot of people.
yeah, I'm thinking either, oh God, what the, Aleister Crowley.
Yes.
And
That's insane. You got it on
Okay,
the
Jenny
first
and I
fucking
never
time.
tell each other what our subject is before, unless it's been the couple that we've worked on together, where I've done the true crime aspect and she has done the haunted side. That is the only time we know, or if it's a part two, that is the only
Yeah.
time we know what the other one is talking about. So, yay me.
That's awesome. Good job. So I don't have like specifics for different parts of his life. Like I just kind of did an overview.
Hmm.
And because I think there's a lot about this guy that people just don't know.
Hmm.
They know about the one part and they're like, oh, he's goo-goo for Cocoa Puffs. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But he really wasn't. He really wasn't. He got turned,
Yeah.
but initially, yeah, he wasn't. So we'll start out with his original birth name is Edward Alexander Crowley. And his parents were Emily Bishop and Edward Crowley, born October 12th, 1875 in, I read this name and I was like, huh? This sounds like it sounds like a place you go to visit, like an actual physical, like building, right?
Hmm.
However, it's a town. Royal Leamington Spa.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was like, wait, what? It's in the UK. Um, he died December 1st, 1947, and he was 72 years old. I won't make anyone do the math. I did it for you.
Thanks.
And he passed away in Hastings, still in the
This is
United
iced
Kingdom.
coffee today, and you can see that I have not had much.
Um, so according to the report that I had initially read, like this little bit was just off of Wikipedia,
Mm-hmm.
and it said he had two children. However, there's another article that I had read that is the local POV by John Graves. He points out that he had two daughters with his first wife. However, the children that are mentioned in the Wikipedia is a son and a daughter. And listen to this name, and I can understand why there may be confusion as to how many children he had. Nuit Ma Athor Hecate Sapo Jezebel Lilith Crowley.
Okay. We were just getting all the goddesses in there.
Yep. Yep. Um, I don't know if I got it wrote down or not. The other article has his two daughters listed as. I'm sorry, I'm almost positive I wrote it down. 1 second. Oh, no, I didn't.
Watch her name be something like Sue.
No, son.
Oh, son. Hey, boy named Sue. Have you not heard that song?
Oh, I have. And trust me, I can sing it. Um, okay. So according to the POV article, they had two daughters named Lilith and Lola. Okay. So the Wikipedia says that the children are all the goddesses and a son named Randall Gare Daughtry. Totally butchered the last name. Got all those goddesses and butchered the last name.
Right. His is very tame by comparison.
Right? I mean, let's see. Nuit, Ma, Honor, Hecate, Sapo, Jezebel, Lilith. And the son is Randall?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like he got gypped in the name department. I mean,
Yeah. So, my daughter has a best friend, and we call him Uno, but his actual name is Unafia, which took me a while to learn how to say that. And his middle name is even worse. I'm not gonna. And he's got a couple other siblings that have, like, there's one I cannot, for the life of me, say his name correctly. And
okay.
Judy laughs at me. But then he's got a sister, Michelle.
Like, what happened? Did you just run out of steam by the time you got to that one?
Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I always tell everyone that Uno's my favorite because, like, he just loves me.
Everybody loves you. You're awesome.
No, not everybody. I will say, remember last week I
That's
said I was
their issues.
very excited that the one coworker was back that I thought I would never say I was happy to see him.
Are you not already?
I don't know what the fuck is going on, but, like, we're all of a sudden BFFs, and it's very weird. I told you my driver that retired passed away, and he was telling me, like, her funeral is Friday, tomorrow, well, because today's Thursday, that her funeral is Friday in Ohio. And he was like, I've got Friday off, so I might go. And I'm like, oh, I didn't, like, something about her obituary. He was like, give me your number, I'll send it to you. And I'm like, hold up. And then, I know I'm way off topic, I'm sorry, and I know we're crunched, but our first and third shift counterparts do not get along.
Mm.
His counterpart is leaving his job because he can't stand my counterpart, and I understand that. So he's leaving the job, and then the third shift, they fight constantly. We are the only two that get along.
That's funny.
It is so, and I'm like, so wait, hold up. You're telling me that out of all three shifts, you and I are the two that get along? And he was like, weird, isn't it? And I'm like, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So it's, okay. I'm sorry. Continue.
So, as a general rundown, Crowley was a English occultist. This is a whole laundry list of this guy, okay? An English occultist, a philosopher, a ceremonial magician, a poet, a painter, a novelist, a mountaineer. This guy, he climbs some good mountains.
Yeah.
Like, they're not just the little ones. And one of them is in England, and it is called... It's in here somewhere. Anyway, beautiful freaking location. I looked it up. Yeah, stunning. And like it looks down over a cape and there's a lighthouse down below. And I was like, yeah, that'd be a perfect spot for a castle because you know who's coming. And you know how long it's going to take for them to get there.
Yeah. Unless you said booby traps.
Of course. So, yeah, that's interesting. I really liked that location. He also founded his own religion of Thelma, identifying the prophet and entrusted with guarding the humanity into the Aeon of Horus in the early 20th century. He wrote 37 books. Yeah.
See, I knew he wrote books, but I didn't know he wrote that many.
Yeah. I actually, when I was looking at it, I thought he wrote, I was like, holy cow. Some were just like reproductions and stuff. So yeah, he even wrote his book of law, which was like the rule of life for his religion.
Mm-hmm.
That one's a horrible book. He also wrote Diary of a Drug Fiend, which was, a lot of people consider that to be like a biography of his experience with what he was going through and things like that. He also did a book called The OTO Rituals and Sex Magic. Yep. He also created a tarot deck with Defia Harris, which includes 78 cards. And apparently it's not a traditional deck. Like if I had this particular deck and was like, oh, I'm not entirely sure how to read it, I don't have a book, and attempted to use a different book to interpret it, it would not work because some of the cards are switched for each other. And also he incorporated a lot of Eastern and Chinese philosophies into the deck. And so just it doesn't read the same. And it apparently is a very hard deck to learn that takes a lot of practice.
Okay.
So that was interesting. Okay, so a lot of this next information is coming from the POV article. And it's just kind of more along the lines of like his younger years and his accolades before he went to Crazy Town.
I was going to say before he lost it.
Yeah. I mean, granted, he was on a good bird. But yeah. Okay. So his leadership in the occult world both inspired and repulsed his peers, causing some to believe that he was a genius and others to just assume he was a lunatic. Fair. Crowley embraced many forms of spiritualization. He melded them together to create his own. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is he traveled the world, quite literally searching for the answers. And he got them and he brought them back and said, okay, look, this is what I found. Here's what it is. So yeah, in that respect, I respect the man for what he did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he had a goal, he went out there and he did it. But he went from being like a chess champion in college and a mountaineer to a spy to a leader. Yep.
I wonder if I could see
Yeah, this guy didn't stay so for very long. However, you would be a great candidate for the cult of fuckery, the church of fuckery on TikTok. She's fun. They do little chaos, not big chaos.
chaos is fun. If it's
Mm-hmm.
okay, not necessarily if it's my chaos because I'm close to a breakdown, but I like other people's chaos. Or that maybe that's drama. I don't know.
The church of fuckery over on TikTok is fun. They're hilarious. It was entirely accidental and intentional at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. The guy he didn't stay still. Apparently the same was true for him as a child. Supposedly he was so mischievous and would call like he was constantly misbehaving that his exasperated mother dubbed him the Beast 666.
So he took that and ran
Yep.
fast.
Yep. So proud carried it through to adulthood. That's what I refer to him as always. So yeah. Like, way to go. Goals achieved. However, at the age of 11, he did endure a tragedy in his life. He lost his adored father to throat cancer. He would refer to him as his best friend and his hero. Yeah. He was, I want to say he was a doctor of some kind, like a dentist or something along that line. I can't remember specifically, and I couldn't re-find it again when I needed to write it down, of course.
Of course not. Never.
But some type of medical field. So he had a lot of money, and he left it to his son, who inherited 1/3 of it. And that is the money that he uses to travel the world. During his college years, he was trying to find his footing, and he ended up trying out several different colleges. He ends up in Cambridge, and while he is there, he is trying to think of a new name for himself, because he understands it's all in the name, you know. And he reads this formula to a successful, stardom name. I did read it, decided we didn't need to know it because we most likely are not going to understand it. Anyway, he decides on the name Aleister, which is actually Gaelic for Alexander. He didn't like the nicknames. Sorry, one second. He didn't like the nickname Alec, because his mother called him that. Like, hi, mommy issues. And then apparently, like, Edward, Ned, Ted were even more disastrous than that. My guess would be in part because of his father being Edward. He was like, nope, we ain't going there. So yeah, ends up deciding on that. Apparently he had always kind of had this connection with the Irish heritage and Celtic and all of that kind of stuff. And so he was kind of excited that he had come up with Aleister. And he knew it was meant to be. In 1894, he climbed Beachy Head. That's the one I was talking about.
I'm gonna go pick up Annabelle.
Okay.
He needs a shower.
Okay.
He's still asleep.
Oh, okay. So this one is a very dramatic 530-foot high cliff. So it just kind of goes straight up. And prior to climbing it, he climbed this prior to climbing the Alps, where he was part of a Scottish mountaineering club. He requested to switch majors at this point to one that wasn't even offered. And it was English Lit. Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't even offered at this time. I thought that was kind of interesting. So that's where he enters into the 3-year course at Trinity College in Cambridge. And this is where he joins the Moral Sciences Tripos to study philosophy. And he becomes the president of the chess club. He also begins to discover / experiment his sexuality, kind of like all college kids. And discovered that relations with another person makes him more creative and enlightened. Mm-hmm. Also believed that going without for more than 48 hours would dull his mind, which led to escapades with prostitutes, and that caused him to get gonorrhea and syphilis.
Oh, well, that explains the crazy.
No. But it was illegal at the time. He also had affairs with men. Biographers report that Crowley's first mystical experience was the result of his first homosexual experience. And that was apparently while in Stockholm, New Year's Eve, 1896. It was apparently recorded somewhere. My guess would be one of the many books he wrote. Although Crowley firmly believed that same-gender relations led to a path of enlightenment, he also considered his desires to be shameful. So he did have, some morals in there. Some at the beginning.
I mean, I guess if you say it, that's your morals, but you're doing the opposite. Do you really have that moral? No, I don't think so. I could say I'm a tree,
but I mean,
that doesn't make me a tree.
But my point is, he did have the thought of, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this. But at the same time, like, desires of the flesh. I mean, come on. Yeah. How many marriages end because of it?
A lot. Yeah.
That's a harder one to keep up with, but it goes along to show that, yeah, he did have those thoughts. Like, he did have, shameful thoughts of things that he was doing at this time. So he still did shit, but he did have the thoughts.
Yeah.
I lost myself a second. Okay. So he ended up in a relationship with Herbert Pollitt. And during this brief relationship, he had gotten very sick with an unknown illness, but it triggered his fascination with mortality. And
that makes sense.
Yep, the futility of all human endeavor. So basically, why are we here and where do we go after? Yeah, makes sense. Got sick, came close, went knocking on the door, and went, oh shit, I don't want to go here no more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I got questions, bro. What are we doing? Because of this, he abandoned his aspirations of being a diplomatic worker. Like, initially, that's what he was going to school for. That's part of why he was traveling and doing all of these things. He wanted to be in that field.
Okay.
Essentially like working at the embassy of whatever country. Instead, he pursued his ever-growing interest in the occult. Crowley had a love for poetry, though, and often wrote his own throughout his lifetime. However, because he often centered around erotic themes, his critics tended to be a lot more critical and were often offended. So yeah, that's however, that didn't stop him. And I'm sorry, I don't have the year down. But he decided that he was going to start his own publishing company and called it Society for the Propagation of Religious Truth. Yeah.
Okay.
His first book included exploring vices of a intimate nature, including taboo subjects such as homosexuality, bestiality, and necrophilia.
Okay. We escalated so fucking quickly there.
It's all the things you weren't supposed to do, and he decided to write a book about it. And they said, no, no, no. Sorry, you can't do that. So his book was banned, and British authorities began to confiscate and burn copies. However, it had legs over here in the States. Even so, he was one of the first gay men to be published, even though it was under a pseudonym. So that was interesting. Little gay pride for you. Edward Crowley was a bisexual. So, yeah. In 1898, after meeting fellow occultist George Cecil Jones, Crowley became a member of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. It was a secret society that was devoted to the study and practice of the occult, metaphysics, and paranormal activities. Once inducted, he was introduced to his fellow members, such as Bram Stoker, William Yeats, and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. So it's not like Crowley was just some lowly, pitiful wannabe, He was up there with the top minds.
Yeah.
He was going to places. He was doing the things. He was seeing the people. He was talking to the right people, and in some cases, asking the right questions.
Yeah. And like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, he not only was an author, but he was big into like the spiritualist, going to seances, things like that. So, I mean, I've listened to a podcast that did like a deep dive on him, and it was one of those I thought I am not gonna give a fuck, but it ended up being very interesting. Very interesting.
This has turned out to be interesting. I think we'll do a little more and then we'll save the rest for another episode. So Crowley was inducted into this group November 8th, 1898 by the group's leader, Samuel Lindell McGregor Mathers. Yeah. At the Golden Dawn's Isis Urania Temple in London's Mark Mason's Hall. Sorry, that's a flippin' mouthful.
Yeah.
Needless to say, like this is beyond grand, beyond plush. Like this is the place tourists go, you know?
Yeah.
And it's one of those you don't touch anything, you don't breathe wrong. One of those types of places. The members were asked to come up with their own mottos. And Crowley's was Perdurado. I'll go with that. Which means I shall endure till the end. Which I like that.
Yeah.
He also carried that over for the rest of his life and into his religion. Though the members had similar interests and things like that, they didn't necessarily get along. Particularly Yeats and Crowley. They were always button heads, apparently. And it was mostly because Crowley didn't have qualms about discussing black magic. Like, it didn't bother him. He would openly discuss it with the other members and things like that. Whereas Yeats did not understand why he was interested and drawn to this and could not condone it, like, at all. He needed to stamp it out, so that they didn't invite evil into their circle. And apparently Crowley had attempted to shout curses at Yeats, who then drew up his white magic and apparently knocked Crowley down the stairs.
Oh shit. He wasn't fucking around.
No. So, and like, this isn't just two guys having an argument, you know, and there's no witnesses. Like, there's witnesses. People saw this shit happen. And they're like, holy shit. And it was apparently such a big deal that it became known as the Battle of Blythe Road.
Okay.
Yep. And because of it, and also some, you know, arguments with Yeats, Stoker, and then there was the rumors of the homosexuality. The other members start to double think, you know, his initiation into the group. And it is later determined that he will not be progressing to the Second Order of the Dawn. And because of the inheritance still being strong and good, wanderlust sets in, and he decides to travel the world, and did, going places such as Mexico, India, Paris, Canada, the US, Japan, Hong Kong. Not only did he crave new experiences, but he wanted to understand the belief systems and things like that behind the different cultures. He wanted the understanding of mortality and afterlife and magic. And that's where we'll end it for this episode.
Awesome. Yeah, it's crazy so far.
Right? And most people don't have a clue. Like, this man was very well educated. He was world traveled. And he was in top circles.
Yeah. Still weird.
And I still haven't told you where it all went downhill.
I'm going to say it was with a woman.
Wrong.
Oh, okay. Well, that's usually where it goes downhill, though, right?
Yeah, fair.
Us women and our devil vagina magic.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, interesting, and this is like some of this I've heard before, but not all of it. Like I said, I didn't know he wrote 37 books. That's
Yep.
Now would I read any of them? I mean, maybe for research, but not for joy, I don't think.
Yeah.
Not for some relaxation. Definitely not.
I have to admit, knowing a few of the things that are in the one book. Note to self, don't use earbuds next time. Oh, what was it? The law one. Oh, the Book of Law. Knowing a few of the laws that are in there, like, I'm curious. And there are people who believe that that was kind of the preface for Satanism as we know it now. Which, based on what I know, I would say that's probably a fair assumption.
Okay.
So that's interesting. So I think on that aspect, I would be interested in reading it, just to be like, okay, I would like to compare, and be like, okay, what's all really in this? You know what I mean? Just because I've looked at the books of Satanism and, did the episode on that quite a while ago.
Yeah, one of our first ones.
Yeah. So that was interesting. So to be able to delve into this and, like, I'm curious on an intellectual level.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, for research, sure. But it's definitely not a book that I would take out in the backyard and with some iced tea, unsweetened, of course, because I'm from the north. And, like, it's so weird because if you travel anywhere outside of here, you can't, like, you can go into a convenience store and find iced tea. Like, here you can get unsweetened and sweetened. In other areas, you cannot get unsweetened iced tea. And that should be illegal. To not be able to.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, I would not, just for leisure. No. Yeah. So do you have anything?
The names of some of them are very interesting. I don't know. I think I would have to see the whole list to see if I would actually read any of his books. Because, like, some are just poetry.
Okay.
But that kind of poetry. It's kind of more like a morbid curiosity. Like, what the hell did he write that was pissing so many people off?
Yeah. Yeah, that's something. So, part 2 next week then?
Yep.
Okay.
And next week, when we come on, I will be in a new position at my job.
Yay.
Yep, that happens this coming week.
Are you excited?
Yes and no. I'm not ready for people. I just spent a week off non-peopling.
Yeah. Yeah. Peopling is hard. And see, and I didn't have to do a story this week, so words weren't hard.
Yeah. I think I actually did pretty good.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I hope that the transition is nice and smooth for you and that people are good to you. Because,
I think they will be.
yeah.
I just got him to not touch me.
Yeah. Do the protection bubble. I have to do that anytime I go into a store.
Oh, yes, yes.
And I notice if I don't, or I forget, or I'm not like concentrating hard enough, I walk out of a store pissed off, hating people.
Yep.
And what was it? Last week? I don't know. I went to Walmart on the 1st of the month. Never again. It's a terrible time to go.
Yes.
Ugh. I don't think I have anything major coming up. I was supposed to do a vendor event this weekend, but that got postponed, and I still don't know if I'm going to be able to make it because it happens to be on a working Saturday. So I don't know if I have it off yet. Sorry. I think the thing I'm most excited about is I have a mani-pedi. What?
Nothing. You totally missed it.
What?
Nothing. The viewers get to see it.
Well, tell me.
I had a weird hair that was going like up and over, and so I had like a little halo, and it was kind of funny. I was like, "Oh, look at the hair," and then I just kind of.
I can't see the top. We're at that thing where I can't see the top of your head, but I know the recording's gonna be fine.
So yeah, I'm sitting here messing with the hair, and you can't even see it.
Nope, can't even see it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So,
on that note,
I'm getting a mani-pedi on Saturday, and I'm pretty fucking excited about it. Well,
I would take the mani.
Huh?
I would take the mani. Don't touch my feet.
See, I don't like. Okay, so here's the thing. I hate my feet touched. I fucking hate it. And because Julie knows this, she's very like light-fingered.
Mm-hmm.
She's not like aggressive, and I know that sounds so weird, but she's not aggressive. I've only had one other person do a pedicure, and I hated every second of it. But I'm at the point with the way my back is and my belly roll, I can't fucking paint my own toes. So, and in the summer, because I do wear a lot of flip-flops and open-toed shoes, I have to have them done. So, twice a summer, I suck it up, and I have Julie do my toes.
Nice.
That's it. And you know how, like, you can have all the nail polish in the world, layers and layers and strong bonding shit, and that shit will peel, chip, break, whatever, but toenail polish will stay on. It would survive the apocalypse. I still have from my last pedicure last year on just my big toe. some of the polish from last year.
That'll ruin your toenails.
That's fine.
Just for warning.
Yeah, but she is the only person I trust to touch my feet.
Understandable.
And the only thing that's nervous is like the new formation of the heel spurs I've got. So hopefully the foot soak takes care of that. And I won't, like right now I'm not in pain, so it's good. So hopefully that stays for Saturday.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. Not that anyone gives a flying fuck about my toes.
I do.
But she's gonna be really mad
Uh-oh.
because I have a broken nail.
Oops. It happens.
Yeah. I mean, I work at GM. So the fact that
Exactly.
my nails are all this long, like these are my natural nails. I don't, there's no fake nothing on my nails. So that means all these are going to have to be chopped down a little bit because I don't like that big, I'm weird. So anyway, I hope everybody has an amazing week.
I hope to. And we'll see you next time.
Don't forget to check out the other shows on the PFC network. And as I'm listening to this and they talk about other shows, I really want to start listening to the other shows. So I'll be doing that. So don't forget to check out the PFC network merch at pfcstore.printify.me. I've got that one down.
Got it. You do.
Down. Check out our TikTok, the creepy dot soup.
Yes.
Right. And then we have the Creepy Soup Facebook page. I think that's it.
Bye.
Try to do that all by memory. It's fun. Have a great week. Love you guys. Bye.